Modes are pretty much just as simple as everything else. They're different kinds of scales, but they're very easy to derive. So the easiest way to derive modes is based off of key signatures. So if I think about my G major key signature, it tells me all of the notes in G major, and we have one F sharp in that key signature. So if I start and end on a different note other than G, I'll be playing modes. On the screen, you'll see all of the modes names listed next to the scale degrees that they start on. The first one, G Ionian, is another example of how we have multiple names for things in music. This is really just the G major scale, just a much older name for that scale. Take a listen. The next mode, the Dorian mode, is called Aeolian because it's the Dorian pattern starting on A. Take a listen. Next, the Phrygian pattern. This one is B Phrygian. B is the third scale degree, and Phrygian is the mode you get when you start on the third scale degree of a major scale. Take a listen. Next, my personal favorite, which is Lydian, starting on the fourth scale degree, in this case C, so we get C Lydian. Take a listen. Next is Mixolydian. Starting on the fifth scale degree, this would be D Mixolydian. And actually, Mixolydian is very popular in the blues style. Moving on to Aeolian, which actually is the same as natural minor. So, this is E Aeolian, but you'll find that this is exactly the same as E minor. Take a listen. Next, a very dark mode, Locrian. This is F sharp Locrian. Locrian will always start on the seventh scale degree of any major pattern. Take a listen. As you can see, it's pretty easy to figure out any mode based off of key signatures. But it's also very, very, very helpful to understand how to alter a major scale to become a mode. So if I'm playing in C major and I want to switch to C Dorian, for example, there is something I will need to do to that scale to make it Dorian. And I can't necessarily go find the right key signature if I have to think quickly. So, let's take all of the modes that we just observed and then compare them to the major scale starting on the same root note. We're going to leave Ionian and Aeolian out because these are just major and minor, and we already know how to derive major and minor scales. But for the other modes, let's take a look at what we alter in order to get a mode from its major scale. So first, let's take a look at A Dorian. First, notice A Dorian is on top. Second, A major is below. In order to make A major A Dorian, we will have to flat the 3, the C sharp to C natural, as well as the 7, the G sharp to G natural. So to take any major scale and make it Dorian 7. When you compare B Phrygian to B major, you'll notice that you have a flat 2, C sharp to C natural, flat 3, that D sharp down to D natural, as well as a flat 6 and a flat 7, the G sharp and the A sharp being flatted down to natural each as well. So, if you flat the 2, 3, 6, and 7, you will get the Phrygian mode. In Lydian, you'll see that you have a sharp 4, that F being raised up to F sharp for our mode. Mixolydian, starting on the 5th scale degree, we have a flat 7. In this case, that's C sharp coming down to a C natural. And finally, with Locrian, we see that we have to flat the 2, the 3, the 5, the 6, and the 7. This is by far our most heavily changed mode, which is why it has such a dissonant sound.